Hola, ¿cómo estás? How's it going? My name is Wes. Welcome back to another lesson. In today's blue lesson, we will go over the family members in Spanish. And I've divided this topic of family members into 3 different parts. So today we will look at part number 1. Now, as always with these blue lessons, if you want to skip ahead to the next video because you don't think this topic necessarily is very interesting or you want to learn this topic, then please by all means skip ahead to the next video. But for those of you who are serious about learning Spanish and that want to know how to say the family members in Spanish, I think everyone should know at least part number 1 of the family members. Please stick around because in today's first part we will go over the basics such as mother, father, sister, brother, and so forth. Alright, so without further ado, today's lesson, family members in Spanish, part 1 of 3. Let's get into it. Alright, so let's start with the parents, which in Spanish is
Los padres. Los padres.
the parents. And then of course, the parents usually consist of the mother and the father. So let's start with the mother.
La madre. La madre.
And then the father in Spanish is
El padre. El padre. La madre. El padre. Los padres.
Alright, then the mother and the father usually have either a son or a daughter. So the son in Spanish is el hijo.
El hijo. El hijo.
So instead of the son, which is masculine, we want to say the daughter. Like we saw before in Spanish, we need to change that ending. So instead of hijo, it becomes hija. And then of course, because that is feminine, daughter, we don't say el hija, but we say la hija. So the daughter, la hija.
La hija. La hija.
El hijo, la hija. Alright, then let's move on to the brother or the sister. Let's start with the brother. The brother is
El hermano. El hermano.
and this is a pretty famous word in Spanish, which I'm pretty sure that you've heard before. You can also use the word hermano as a way of saying brother, not like an actual brother, but more of like a friend, for example. So, el hermano, the brother. And then, of course, we have the feminine version, so the sister, which is la hermana.
La hermana. La hermana. El hermano. La hermana.
Alright, then let's talk about the grandparents as well, which is los abuelos.
Los abuelos. Los abuelos.
And you write that with A-B-U-E-L, so abuelos, the grandparents. And of course, the grandparents consist of el abuelo, the grandfather, and la abuela, the grandmother.
El abuelo. El abuelo. La abuela. La abuela. Los abuelos.
Alright, and then the last 3 words already of this lesson. This lesson is actually very short, I just realized that. But the last 3 words that we will go over in today's lesson are the grandchildren. So, first of all, the grandchildren.
Los nietos. Los nietos.
The grandchildren. And then, of course, we have the grandson, el nieto, the grandson. And, of course, we also have the granddaughter, which is the feminine version of the grandchild, which is la nieta.
El nieto. El nieto. La nieta. La nieta. Los nietos.
Alright, and that was actually already it for this first part of family members in Spanish. Now, let's go over them one more time again, just to practice a little bit and have some repetition. So,
Los padres. La madre. El padre. El hijo. la hija, el hermano, la hermana, los abuelos, el abuelo, la abuela, los nietos, el nieto, la nieta.
Alright, that's it for this first part of the family members in Spanish. I hope to see you in part number 2. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I hope that it was helpful. I hope you got something out of this. And of course, I hope to see you in the next family member lesson, but also in the next lesson that comes right after this lesson. Alright, see you in the next one. Adios.